The spaceship Wanderer landed on a distant planet called Zalora. It was a planet filled with lush green forests, tall mountains, and strange creatures. The humans on the ship were explorers from Earth, eager to learn about new worlds. Captain Mira was the leader of the group. She was brave and always curious. As they stepped out of the spaceship, they were greeted by the Zalorians, the native people of the planet. The Zalorians were tall, with blue skin and bright, glowing eyes. They were peaceful and welcomed the humans warmly. One Zalorian, named Thalos, was very interested in the humans. He had heard about them before, but had never met one. He was especially curious about their customs and the way they lived with other creatures on Earth. One day, Thalos invited Captain Mira to his home, a large crystal cave that shone with many colors. The walls sparkled like stars, and the air inside was cool and calm. As they sat down on smooth stones, Thalos offered Mira a drink made from a local fruit. It was sweet and refreshing, unlike anything she had tasted before. Thalos was very curious about humans. He had heard many stories about them, but he wanted to learn more directly from Mira. After a moment of silence, Thalos asked, "Captain Mira, I have heard that your people keep other creatures in your homes. Is this true?" Captain Mira smiled gently and nodded. "Yes, Thalos, it is true. We call them pets. These are animals that live with us, share our homes, and become part of our families. We take care of them, and they give us companionship." Thalos looked confused and a bit concerned. "But I have also heard that some of these creatures are predators. Some of them have sharp teeth and claws. Why would you keep such dangerous creatures so close to you?" Mira thought carefully about how to explain. "It is true that some of our pets are predators. For example, we have an animal called a cat. Cats are small, but they are hunters by nature. They have sharp claws and teeth, and they are very independent. However, we do not fear them. We have learned to live together with them." Thalos leaned forward, clearly interested, but still puzzled. "But why would you choose to live with a creature that could harm you? It seems risky." Mira smiled again, understanding Thalos's concern. "It might seem risky, but for us, it is different. You see, on Earth, where we come from, life can be very dangerous. We have faced many challenges and threats over the years. So, for us, the idea of living with a small predator, like a cat, is not as frightening as it might be for you. In fact, we find it comforting." Thalos's eyes widened in surprise. "Comforting? How can something dangerous bring comfort?" Mira explained further, "Cats are not just dangerous. They are also soft, warm, and affectionate in their own way. They may scratch or bite sometimes, but they also bring us joy. When a cat purrs, it makes a soft, calming sound that can make a person feel at peace. And when a cat chooses to sit with you or let you pet it, it feels special, like you have earned its trust." Thalos thought about this for a while. The idea of earning the trust of a creature that could be dangerous was very new to him. So, it is not just about keeping a pet for protection or utility. It is about forming a bond, even with a creature that could harm you. "Exactly," Mira said with a nod. "It is a relationship built on mutual respect and understanding. We do not control our cats. They live with us because they want to, not because they have to. And that makes their companionship all the more valuable to us." Thalos was still puzzled by what Captain Mira had told him about pets, especially the idea of living with a predator. "How can you love something that could harm you?" he asked, his voice full of curiosity and concern. Mira could see that Thalos was struggling to understand, so she decided to show him what she meant. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device, a hologram projector. She placed it on the smooth stone between them and pressed a button. A soft light glowed, and then, in front of them, appeared a lifelike image of a cat. The cat was sleek, with shiny fur and bright green eyes. It moved gracefully, its tail swishing slowly behind it. The cat stretched its body, showing its sharp claws for a moment, before sitting down and curling up into a ball. It looked peaceful and content, purring softly as it settled. Thalos leaned in closer, fascinated by the small creature. He could see its sharp claws and teeth, but he also noticed how gentle it looked as it curled up. "This is a cat?" he asked, his voice quiet with awe. "Yes," Mira replied. "This is a cat. Its name is Luna. Cats like Luna can be fierce, but they can also be very loving. They are independent creatures, and they do not always show affection in the way other animals might. But when they do, it is special." Thalos watched the hologram of Luna as it lifted its head and looked around. The cat's eyes were sharp, alert, and aware of everything around it. But what if it decides to attack? What if it uses those claws on you? Thalos asked, still trying to understand. Mira smiled softly. Sometimes they do scratch or bite, especially if they are scared or upset. But it is not out of malice. It is just their way of defending themselves. We accept that because we know it is part of who they are. And the scratches and bites, they are usually not serious. They heal quickly, and they are just part of living with a cat. Thalos was silent for a moment, thinking deeply. He had never imagined forming a bond with a creature that had the ability to hurt him. On Zalora, creatures with sharp teeth and claws were always kept at a distance, never invited into homes. Seeing that Thalos was still unsure, Mira continued, "Let me tell you a story about Luna. One day, she scratched me when I tried to pick her up too quickly. It hurt, but I understood that she was just scared. Later that evening, after she had calmed down, she came to me, purring, and sat on my lap. She looked up at me with those big green eyes, and in that moment, I knew she trusted me again. That trust, Thalos, is what makes it all worth it." Thalos nodded slowly, beginning to see what Mira was trying to explain. "So, you do not love them despite the danger. You love them because they are both gentle and fierce, and you accept all parts of them." "Exactly," Mira said with a warm smile. "Cats are a mix of wild and tame, and that is what makes them so special to us. We love them for who they are, not just for the moments when they are soft and cuddly, but also for the times when they remind us of their wild nature." Thalos looked at the hologram again, watching as Luna stretched out her paws and yawned. He could see now that the bond between humans and their pets was something deep, built on understanding and respect. It was not just about keeping an animal for company. It was about accepting another being for all that they are, both the good and the bad. Over the next few days, Thalos thought a lot about what Mira had shown him. He started to see that the relationship between humans and their pets was something special, something built on trust and understanding. One evening, Thalos brought Mira to a quiet spot in the forest. "There is a creature here, the Zorak, that I have always feared," he said. "But now I wonder if it could be like your cats. Could we live together in peace?" Mira looked at the creature. It was small, with bright eyes and sharp teeth, much like a cat. It watched them from the shadows, curious but cautious. "It is possible," Mira said gently, "but it will take time. You must be patient and let it come to you." Thalos began to visit the forest every day. He sat quietly, waiting for the Zorak to approach him. At first, it kept its distance, but slowly, it began to trust him. One day, the Zorak came close enough to touch, and Thalos reached out his hand. The creature sniffed his fingers and then, surprisingly, nuzzled against him. Thalos felt a warmth in his heart. He had made a new friend, just as Captain Mira had with her pets. He realized that sometimes even the wildest creatures could become companions if you treated them with respect and patience. When Captain Mira and her crew left Zalora, Thalos stood with the Zork by his side, waving goodbye. He knew that he had learned something important, something that would change the way his people thought about the creatures on their planet. And maybe, just maybe, they would start to see them not as threats, but as friends.